Hey guys, it's Mike here, and I just saw El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. Now, for fans of Breaking Bad, this has been a highly anticipated movie ever since it was first announced earlier this year. The prospect of a film that takes place after the finale of Breaking Bad and tells us what becomes of Jesse Pinkman is certainly tantalizing. This is even more the case given how Season 5 ended, with much of it up in the air involving Jesse's fate and the events transpiring after his escape. In my last video, I went in depth with Mark from Reel to Reel in our retrospective on the Breaking Bad franchise. So if you want my full thoughts on the series, you can check it out in the card in the top right of the video. But in short, Breaking Bad is one of my favorite series of all time and in the running for the greatest series in television history. It was masterfully crafted by Vince Gilligan and those working on the series, giving audiences a number of amazing performances from the talented cast, with the standout of course being Bryan Cranston as Walter White, showing the incredible transformation of a pushover school teacher to a violent drug kingpin over the course of the series. Although I have some reservations about what happened in Season 5, the show had one of the greatest endings in television history, an ending that only looks better in retrospect as other massive franchises fail to give their audiences a fitting conclusion. So at this level of quality the franchise has given us up until now, Vince Gilligan needed a strong reason to return and to have a story worth telling. This is something that also caused concern among longtime fans of the series. For many, the ending of Breaking Bad was perfect, and with so many other franchises having been continued in lackluster fashion recently, many were concerned about the possibility that Gilligan would taint that ending and the series as a whole. This isn't a prequel like Better Call Saul, but rather a direct continuation, and people didn't exactly want a repeat of the Star Wars sequel trilogy with Breaking Bad, with Jesse tossing both a bag of blue meth and the series' credibility over his shoulder. So going into El Camino, I had some pretty high expectations, and now upon seeing it, I'd have to say that the film largely lived up to them. El Camino is an excellent addition to the Breaking Bad franchise and gives fans some great extra content as well as the answers and closure that they've been looking for. I definitely think it's worth watching, and in this video, I'm going to explain why, with as few spoilers as possible. Although there will obviously be some spoilers for Breaking Bad, and if you haven't seen Breaking Bad, I'm not sure why you're even watching this to begin with. But with that out of the way, let's get into this video. Now, the story of El Camino focuses on Jesse Pinkman just after he escaped from the neo-Nazis at the end of Season 5. However, he's still not out of trouble yet, because the police have named him a person of interest and are searching for him. The clock is ticking, so Jesse has to evade the police and find his way out before it's too late. As a result, the film is rich in tension, with Jesse encountering various obstacles along the way. And all throughout the film, Aaron Paul sells this excellently. He was great in Breaking Bad, serving in many ways as the heart of the story. He was a kid that made the wrong decisions and was forced into situations that irreversibly damaged him. Ironically, Vince Gilligan planned to kill him off early on, but changed his mind after watching Aaron Paul's performance and his chemistry with Bryan Cranston's Walter White. His acting only got better with each season, and that carries over into this movie as well. As a result of his captivity and treatment at the hands of the neo-Nazis, Jesse is struggling with PTSD and is clearly still beat up during this film. He's constantly struggling with his past, which we see throughout the course of the film, and Aaron Paul does an excellent job playing not only his current self, but also his past self at different points throughout Breaking Bad. Despite the fact that the series ended 6 years ago, he effortlessly slips back into the role of Jesse in a way that makes it feel like he never left. The same thing goes for the other actors who reprise their roles here, and there's a lot more than you would think, ranging from minor characters to some of the main cast. Skinny Pete and Badger are there as we saw in the trailer, but we also get surprise returns of actors I never would have expected. So for Breaking Bad fans, it'll be a real treat to see just who Jesse interacts with over the course of the movie, in addition to a ton of Easter eggs. Many of the flashback sequences also help to add further context to the events of Season 5. I always felt that the way that Season 5 was structured came off a bit rushed, so Gilligan going back and elaborating on more of what happened with Jesse during his time with the Rednecks helped to retrospectively fix some of that for me. It's very unpleasant as you would expect, especially one event that takes place between Pinkman and one of the neo-Nazis, with a certain actor returning to give another chilling performance. All of this is made even better thanks to Gilligan's excellent direction. The way that he stages scenes has always been top-notch, and the cinematography was always always excellent here. All of Gilligan's classic hallmarks are here, with time lapses, extended take sequences, and numerous visual nods to Breaking Bad and other cinematic works. There's even a musical montage, which Breaking Bad fans will no doubt appreciate. And I think all of this ties into the fact that El Camino feels like a true continuation of the story. Nothing about it feels forced, tacked on, or undeserved. Despite coming out years later, this feels like something that could have come out right after season 5 and fit in perfectly with the show. Now of course, much like with Better Call Saul, the actors are years older, and the story takes place right after the end of Breaking Bad. So it's kind of like Rocky V, where if you were to watch it immediately after, you'd think that everyone aged 5 years overnight. I can see how it would take certain viewers out of the movie, but that's ultimately one of the limits when it comes to a live-action movie. Unfortunately, Gilligan can't exactly go back in time and get these guys when they were at the right age, but I'd rather it be this way than having them all digitally de-aged like in It Chapter 2. What ultimately matters is the performances that the actors give, and despite their age or slightly different appearance, they all slip right back into the roles that made them famous. I could also see some people having issues with the amount of flashbacks that we get, but again, they all serve a purpose in the story being told, and the fan service works here rather than feeling overindulgent. This also isn't exactly a fast-paced action movie, but fans of Breaking Bad know exactly how deliberate Gilligan can be with his pacing. It's a nice change up from any modern blockbusters. Although on the subject of big blockbusters, El Camino does actually have one big similarity to Avengers Endgame, because it's a film you won't be able to fully appreciate without seeing the rest of the franchise. Now Netflix does have a recap at the beginning of the movie, which is helpful, but unless you've seen the series, you'll likely miss out on a lot of references or be lost at certain points of the film. But that isn't something I see as a negative any more than I would in the third movie of a trilogy. So you should definitely watch Breaking Bad first, as if needing to watch one of the greatest series in history wasn't already obvious. But I think the biggest question on the minds of Breaking Bad fans is it a story that needs to be told? Was it worth it to make this continuation? And I'd have to give that question a resounding yes. El Camino is a great addition to the franchise and gives us the perfect ending for Jesse Pinkman's character. And after I got done watching this film, I was glad that I was able to revisit the world one more time and see it conclude its likely final chapter, at least chronologically. So overall, El Camino is great and lived up to the quality of the Breaking Bad franchise. It's one of my favorite movies of the year, and I look forward to rewatching for years to come. It's a testament to this franchise that it's been able to stay strong while others around it have fallen apart. Other cinematic universes should take note, because Vince Gilligan once again showed them all how it's done. So have you guys seen El Camino? And if so, how do you think it compares to Breaking Bad? Let me know down below. Also, if you're new to this channel, then make sure to subscribe and enable all notifications so that you can see all of my videos and community posts right away when they come out. And make sure to stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.
Yeah, and you better subscribe.